But no politician can talk about, well, things are not as bad as you think, because that sounds like they don't care. And yet you just hear this constant whining, complaining about our loss of our competitiveness, America in decline. We've never been more dominant. We've never had more natural advantages than we have today. We've sort of become a nation of whiners.
I don't agree with Senator Gramm.
Hey, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to take issue with you here because I agree with a lot of your comments, but let me
Please, go ahead.
I wonder, yeah, he wants to see two conservatives fighting. But in all seriousness here, we haven't had a recession. There is an economic slowdown. I share your concern. Everybody I talk to is furious at $4.50 a gallon for gasoline, especially when they know that we have, more resources than the Middle East. But I want to ask you this. Over the course of my life, I have met people that grew up under tyranny. I knew people that grew up in the former Soviet Union for fear of speaking out against their government, never had an opportunity to pursue their dreams. In this country, maybe we do, is there some truth to the fact? Maybe we do whine too much. Maybe we don't appreciate this gift that we have of freedom. Maybe we don't take advantage of it. Maybe too many of us look to the government to solve every problem we have, health care, etc.
Sean, I have the deepest affection for you as a dear friend.
Oh, here we go.
If the American people are complaining, you ought to listen to them and find out why. Now, why are they complaining? The price of health care is going up. The price of health insurance is going up. The price of sending their kids to college is going up. The price of gasoline is going up.
Right.
They fear China as a competitor. They look at a tightening situation. I talk to manufacturers who are seeing dramatic increases in the cost of their raw materials. And they say to each other, this is harder. People, for the first time that I can remember, people declined the number of miles they're driving in the last 2 months because it is directly affecting their pocketbook. Now, if your customer comes in and complains to you, it is not good to say to the customer, why don't you quit whining? Because then they get to go to a new store.
Well, I think Phil Gramm has the guts to say what a lot of you business experts are reading between the lines. I mean, let's face it, David, growth is holding steady at 1%. We are still the dominant superpower we always were. And when you talk about factors like consumer confidence, let's be real. That's a subjective thing. And don't think for one moment that the whiny news media and the gloom and doom pundits in the mainstream press aren't impacting the way people are viewing the economy. They do, but of course there are people who are struggling. But to make it sound like we're ready to have people jump off the 30th floor down on Wall Street and plummet like we're in the Great Depression era of 1929 is ridiculous. It's not that bad. Phil Gramm put it best: misery sells newspapers.
All that said, Phil Gramm was right, of course.
Phil Gramm was right?
Absolutely. We are on 2 points. He made 2 points.
George Will not speaking for John McCain.
As John McCain will rush to assure you. We're not in a recession as commonly defined. That is 2 consecutive quarters.
We may be heading there, though. Well, even Bernanke says so.
That could be heading. We're not, however. Unemployment today is just about at the post-war average, 5.5%. His second point, that we are a nation of whiners, we are the crybabies of the Western world. In fact, we have an extraordinarily low pain threshold.
I've got 3 other people.
Get you to react to. Senator Obama has been very critical, obviously, and this is going to be a major part of the campaign and the debate. Senator Obama says Senator McCain's plan is for millionaires and big corporations. Instead, he says he's going to give everybody under $250,000 a year a $500 tax credit, $1,000 per family, per household, to offset Social Security expenses. Let me ask you this. Does Obama have a more direct assistance in this plan to the middle class than Mr. McCain?
No. Now, let me ask you a question. How many people poorer than you have ever hired you? Zero.
Listen, I'm not sculpting Obama's message.